Welcome to the yoga practice, and we will start our practice today in supine position. On the back you can use bolster, you can use roll of the blanket or two blocks to lightly elevate your chest. If you're using blocks, you place the block between the shoulder blades, and then second block will come to support the back of your head. You can use a bolster, and then you can even elevate the edge of the bolster with a block as well, so you're not having your head too low. And I will take arms on the side of the body, palms facing ceiling, and if you're comfortable in your lower back, we can take our straight legs. And as you find in this supine elevated chest position, make sure that you have a bit of an opening on your chest, on your neck. So don't drop the head too low, don't lift your chin too high, but find a more or less neutral position for the chin and create a neutral arch for your neck. Work with your shoulder blades to create some external rotation of the shoulder. So like maybe feel like squeezing the shoulder blades and turn the forearms and palms a little bit more to face ceiling, just to create more emphasis on the stretch on the front of the chest. And we'll have here just several minutes to create this sense of opening and stretch of the front of the body. We are in a cold days of the winter, so we have a tendency to put the coats and scarves and congest the chest. So I would like today to spend a bit of a time for this chest opening. And as we practice the supine position, I will invite you to emphasize your exhale with which you will surrender to the gravity. But as well, I would invite you to focus on the exhalation that vibrates in your throat. Those of you who are familiar with Ujjayi breath, just activate the Ujjayi breath. If you're not familiar with the term Ujjayi, just think of slightly compressing the muscles of your throat and create the sounds of ha. You're not opening your mouth, you just are noticing how the air that exhales vibrates in the throat. As well as you inhale, just allow the chest expand as much as it feels natural for you. Don't overdo this, but just allow this opening in the front of the chest. And then on exhale, gravitate toward the floor, toward the mat, toward the earth. As you inhale, you feel a little bit of a stretch in the area of the belly, in the area of your solar plexus, area of the heart, and continue to emphasize this ha exhalation. So this way we're working on 5 from 7 energy centers. We'll have here 5 more exhale. On the last exhale, just ease your exhale, and after that, just allow yourself to move your palms, maybe turn the palms down toward the floor, turn the palms up toward the ceiling several times. Notice how you are moving the arms from the shoulders, and then maybe hug yourself, take your right arm in front, and feel a little bit of a pull in the shoulder blades with right hand, and pulling the shoulder blades with left hand, like a slightly rotating here. And then we'll bend the knees and slowly drop the knees to either side, and with the help of one elbow, forearm, bring yourself in a seated position. And we'll elevate the hips with a block, so this way we feel comfortable. I'll take a moment just to settle with a straight spine. I hope you have a strap or resistance band handy so you can reach. I didn't tell that in the beginning, but just have it close to you. Yeah, it could be band, could be belt, yeah. And let us start with a shoulder circle. So lift the shoulders up to the ears, drop them down. So a couple of light circles. Think of the center of your shoulders that create the circle, like draw the circle on the wall. Go around 5 circles one direction, and then go around 5 circles the other directions. And as you move, squeeze the shoulder blades when you try to take your shoulders back. Lift them as you take the shoulders up. And let us stop here. And then we'll take the right arm up and try to keep it straight elbow. And we're going to lift the arm up, and it starts from the shoulder blades and then drop the shoulder blades down. So lift and drop. I'm going to come a little bit closer, and you hopefully will see my shoulder blades moving. So you will lift and drop. So try not to bend the elbow when you drop, but try to move it from the shoulder blade. So a couple of times just to activate the area, warm up the area around the shoulder blade. And then we will release the right arm, and we'll do that with the left, lifting and dropping. One more time, and release. And then we'll bring the arms parallel to the floor, and here we will squeeze the shoulder blades and move them forward. So protraction and retraction of the shoulders. One more time. And then just shake your arms. Next one, we will take this resistance band that we prepared. It could be strap as well, and we'll take it in front. So it could be slightly stretched. Doesn't need to be too much of a stretch. And we'll take straight arms behind the back, and then bring them forward. And as you go with this movement, make sure that you're not dropping the chin, but maintaining your straight spine, and try to find the movement coming from the shoulders. So no compensation here. So with the resistance band, it's nice because it's give you a little bit of a stretchy feeling when it's behind, and also you have just a bit of the load, a little bit of resistance. So let us have 2 more, the full movements behind the hips And then we will release the strap. We'll place it in front of the mat. We will be using a little bit later again. And I will invite you to have your blocks also on the front of the mat, so we will have access to them. And then we're coming into the tabletop position. Set your hands shoulder width apart, spread your fingers, set your knees hip distance apart, and here we go into the cat and dog stretch. So start slow, use your breath to guide you. And first of all, mobilize the lumbar spine a little bit using the glutes and using the abdomen muscles. But then make sure that you're moving your head in full, stretching the neck. And the last one, what I want you to pay attention are your shoulder blades, that you are also puffing or coming into the protracted position and then squeezing in the dog stretch when you come to a retracted position. So activate again. There's muscles around the shoulder blade, as well as I would like you to feel how in the rounded spine you press in the floor and you use a little bit of the resistance, a little bit of a strength of your arms and upper back to hold yourself. And then let us take knees a little bit wider, drop the hips, and we stretch the arms forward. So first just go as far as you can go with your palms, and then try to find a straight elbow. So try to have just the palms on the floor and keep your elbows off the floor, and just check how that feels in your shoulder blades. Some of you might be a little bit restricted. You might find that to go with the head down toward the floor, you need to bend your elbows. So maybe keep your head off the floor, but try to find straight elbows and work again to activate those muscles of the shoulder blades to keep them stable. Take another exhale, and then just look forward, lift your hips a little bit, and bring your two blocks where your palms just were placed in the previous position. And we're going to bring the right palm on the block, and the left forearm will be where it's comfortable. And you try in this time to go as low with your forehead, feeling that you're pressing your right palm slightly more into extended position of the shoulder. So if it's too easy for you with a flat block, you can also lift the block into a higher end and create the stretch this way. So a little bit higher position of the palms. If your shoulder responds, if it's too much for you, you don't need to go there. You are using the flat block position. So you feel that you're forcing the right side of the body in a slight extension, right? So you feel how the shoulder blades pressed into the spine, and you feel you extending your spine. And we're going to do this with a left hand. So we're going to lift and bring the left palm. You're welcome to use the flat position of the block. First, feel some stretch sensation around the shoulder, your biceps. So play here to position your palm the way that you still try to keep your elbows straight. And again, the variation will be to go into higher position of the block and hold the stretch. Take an exhale, and next one we'll try to bring both palms. That will be for some of you maybe more challenging to keep your elbows straight, but try your best. Think of sliding the shoulder blades in depressed position, so it's a little bit down toward the base of the spine. Feel like you opening the upper back here and creating some extension in your thoracic spine. Taking another exhale, and then we'll lift the chest. We'll again place the blocks on the side, and we're coming into downward dog, tucking the toes, and as you come to the downward dog, hopefully you feel a bit more space in your shoulders. So if you usually feel in the downward dog that you're really tight in your shoulders, in your chest, this time you bringing the head between the arms, you bending your knees, and you create a nice straight line from the palms to the base of the spine, and then look forward and walk to the front of the mat. Set your feet hip distance. Just relax your arms for a couple of moments, shake them, and then slowly, vertebra by vertebra, let's come up into standing position. So we worked on the upper body. Let's have a little bit more of the lower body mobilizing, the lumbar spine mobilizing by moving pelvis into tilted position in standing. That sometimes it's harder to find. So squeezing the glutes and taking your pubic bone forward. So pelvic tilt and then extension. So think of the handle here that you move, and have a bit more understanding what is the range of the flexion and extension for your lower back. And then come to the neutral position. Take your arms on the sides of the hips, and then with inhale, lift the palms up and keep the palms facing the front. Press them as far back as you can, but keep your chin neutral. And then exhale, return the palms to the sides of the head, palms facing each other. Bring them together and exhale, fold forward all the way down. On next exhale, step your left knee back and use the two blocks to start with. And I'm inviting you to find the maximum stretch on your left thigh. So you might tuck the toes and lift the knee again, and then try to land the knee a little bit further back. So finding as much stretch as you can achieve here. And then we'll bring the hands to the right knee. We'll then bring the right hand to the lower back. So I'm giving a little bit of a grounding sense, and we'll take the left arm up and try to move the arm as far back as you can. So the stretch feels from the left knee through the hip flexor, through the shoulder, all the way to the palm. On next exhale, we'll release and we'll step into tabletop position, and then we'll step into downward dog. So every time today in downward dog, I wanted to emphasize this straight line. So try to open your shoulders, and from the base of the palms to the hip creases, you want to create one straight line. On next exhale, let's drop the knees down to the floor, and we step the left foot forward. Again, use the blocks here to maybe tuck the back toes and lift the knee, and then drop it down and go a little bit further back. So creating a bit more stretch on the hip flexor, on the front thigh. And then bring your hands to the left knee. Bring the left hand to the lower back and take the right arm up. Press the palm as far back as you can. Opening the chest, feeling the stretch on the front of the chest. Create a nice arch on the right side of the body. It feels intense. And then exhale, release, and we'll again step first into the tabletop position and then into the downward dog. Exhale. a long spine. Then we'll look forward and we'll walk to the front of the mat. Set your feet hip distance, drop the head, and then let's slowly, slowly, slowly come up into standing position. Exhale here. So take a breath and we'll go to next flow. With inhale, lift the arms up. Again, let's turn the palms to the front and press them back. So you feel you slightly going into the back bend, but very, very minor. Then bring the palms back over the head, palms together, hinge from the hips. Exhale, go all the way down. We're gonna step the left foot back into a nice, pretty wide lunge, and pick up your band, lift the torso up, and we'll just go with the band behind the back and to the front. And let's go 5 times. And front. And 3. And 4. And 5. And then release the band and let's step into the downward dog. Exhale. On inhale, we'll flow into plank, but today we're going to just drop the knees and come all the way down to the belly position. We'll bring one palm on the top of the other palm. Bring the forehead down on the floor and we'll start activating glutes and legs for support of the lower back in our prone position. So point the toes as hard as you can, feeling that your knees comes off the floor. And then we're going to lift the palms and forearms off the floor in a very moderate extension of the spine. Keep your neck neutral. So having the palms under the forehead, helping you not to extend your neck. And exhale, come down. We have 2 more like that. Strong legs, strong glutes, and lift the forearms, hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come down, exhale. We'll have 1 more. Lift and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come down, exhale. Bring the hands on the sides of the rib cage, chin to the chest. Press yourself into the cat. Stretch, tuck your toes, find yourself into the downward dog. So let us have here several breaths to hold the spine in a contour pose after the back bends. You can always have your knees bent, focus more on the hip hinge and focus more on your lengthening. And then step the right foot closer to the midline for better support. Step your left foot forward. Pick up the band and come up. So this time as we holding ourselves in a lunge position and we have in the band in front, we're going to go a little bit different. So you can watch me. We're going to first lift the left arm perpendicular to the floor and go with a right, and then we're going to come here. So a circular movement, right? So circular movement of the shoulders. So going like that. So arm up and then parallel. And then the other arm up and in front. And up and parallel behind and up and in front. Yeah, just be creative. As long as you are going with one arm, creating circular movement with the arms is good. Yes, exactly. Yeah. And let us bring the band down to the floor and step into downward dog. Exhale. On next inhale, flow into plank. Drop the knees and come all the way down. Exhale. Let us have the arms on the sides of the hips, palm facing the ceiling. And we're going to lift the legs this time, keeping them strong. Lift the chest and lift the forearms. So just check how different you feel in your shoulders. Your shoulders right now in internal rotation. Yes, so your shoulder is in flexed position, and then exhale, come down. Bring the hands on the sides of the rib cage, tuck your toes. Exhale, come into the downward dog. Taking the breath here, then look forward and walk to the front of the mat. Set your feet hip distance, and then very slowly, let's roll up in standing. Taking the breath here. So let us practice the standing back bend, something that is very foreign for our nervous system, because we designed to do the activities in front of us. We're going to bring the hands on the top of your hips, on your lower back, and we want to squeeze the glutes exactly how we did on the floor, and we press the hips forward. You want to achieve the same sensation of stretch on the front of the thighs, and then you squeeze the shoulder blades. And you lift your gaze up and think of pressing the chest up. So it's like someone is pressing your shoulder blades, right in between the shoulder blades. Very similar to what we practiced in the very beginning on the floor. And then exhale. We're going to do it with one arm. We'll take the right arm up, and you try to progress with the arm as far as possible. Squeeze your glutes. Press the hips forward, and then go as far as it feels right for you. You have to feel stretch on the front of the body. And then release the arm and change. Bring the right hand to your lower back. Take the left arm up. First, just move. This is already back bend when your arm goes behind the ear. And then squeeze the glutes and press forward and come as far into back bend as you can. And then exhale. I'm going to try to go with the two arms, but we will this time interlace the hands and bring them behind the back of the head. So we're going to create a bit of a support for the neck. Try to open your elbows wide. Squeeze your glutes, press them forward, and just think that your palms is the shelf where you put your head. And open, 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 open the chest. Press it up, 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 up. So try not to collapse to the lower back, rather than elongate through the lower back. And then exhale, come back into standing position. We're going to poke into the hip flexors, and we come very slowly. First, maybe having a moment here in a half fold, and then continue to go into the full fold, bringing the hands down to the floor, dropping the head. Exhale. So very passive fold. Allow the gravity be on your side in the upper body. Let the arms receive some weight. Let the head receive some weight. Feel stretch on the back of the body that we just used to go into standing back bend. And then very slowly, vertebra by vertebra, let's come up into standing position. Exhale. So make sure we are on the front of the mat, and we'll come to our next flow. When you're ready, inhale the arms up. Palms together, exhale, folding forward. Stepping the left foot back, and this time dropping the left heel down to the floor. Walk your hands to the left edge of the mat, and then lift your torso up. Bring your hands to the hips, ground yourself here. 90-degree knee. Take your arms into the warrior two. Start from the center torso position here, and then bring your left hip to the left thigh. Turn the palm up toward the ceiling, and just send it up, or maybe slightly above the head, whatever feels right for you. But don't lose your 90-degree front knee, right? So we have a tendency to release the knee bend. And think of pressing the right side of the rib cage up toward the ceiling. On exhale, return back to the center position of your warrior two. Bring the right elbow to the right thigh and take your left arm as far above your head as you feel right. But be grounded. Don't collapse to your right shoulder and right elbow. Be grounded through the back leg. Engage your core here. On exhale, return back into the warrior two. Take a breath, then make a huge circle with the left arm and step into the plank. Then drop the knees and come all the way down. Exhale. We'll take the arms into letter Y. Make a fist. Turn the thumb, open thumb up toward the ceiling. Have a strong legs. You're not lifting your legs, but you're supporting the lower back. You're lifting the face, lifting the chest, and then you're lifting your arms, trying to reach up toward the ceiling with your thumb. And we're going to pulse here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, come down. Hands on the sides of the rib cage. Very slowly, type of the cat movement. Bring yourself into the downward dog. Exhale. On next inhale, step your left foot forward. Drop the right heel, walk your hands to the edge of the mat, lift the torso up. Ground yourself, front knee 90 degree. Take your arms parallel to the floor into the warrior two position. Then when you're ready, drop the right hand to the right thigh, turn the left palm toward the back and take the arm overhead, opening the chest. On exhale, return back into the warrior two position. Then bring the left elbow to the left thigh and take the right arm overhead. Be really engaged through the right glute. This is your stability. This is your back leg and compensating the body weight that comes to the front. On exhale, return back into the warrior two, making a huge circle with the right arm, stepping into plank, dropping the knees, coming all the way down. Exhale. This time we take the elbows into the cactus pose. So it's a 90 degree, elbows and shoulders aligned, but we're gonna keep the same position of the fist and thumb up. Strong legs, strong glutes. We're gonna lift the face off the floor and lift the forearms, trying to send the thumbs up toward the ceiling and pulse it here again for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. Hands on the sides of the rib cage. And again, through maybe cat stretch, come to the downward dog. Exhale. Let's have here 5 breaths. Focus on stable shoulders. Find the best position for you to activate all the muscles around the shoulders. Don't feel like you're collapsing all your weight on the shoulder grid. And then look forward and walk to the front of the mat. Feet are hip distance. Release. And then very slowly come up into standing position. Exhale, taking the breath here. So we will practice the dancer pose, and I today would like you to use the wall because I want you to be aligned with the shoulders and hips to the wall. So you also can use the chair. Just for the best view for the camera, I will be using the high chair. So you come to the wall with the hips and shoulders parallel. If you're on the wall, you can take your left arm up, so very, very lightly touching the wall, and then stabilize your left hip. If you're using the chair, your left hand is on the chair. You bend your right knee, and as you are holding your foot, ideally you're keeping the palm up toward the ceiling. Bringing knees together, so don't let the right knee to come forward. We already warmed up the hip into extension enough so you can bring the knees together, and try to keep your right heel as far behind your torso as possible. So if you're on the wall, you just have maybe one finger touching the wall, or maybe you can let the wall go. Keep your pressure of the left arm backward, and keep just a bit of a pressure of the right knee backward. So not too far yet. And keep your stable left hip. And let's release. So let us go to the other side. So we will have a right hand on the wall or on the chair. Bend the left knee. Reach to the left ankle and allow the knee to go back. So open this hip flexor. Shoulders and hips facing the front. And then just a little bit of a pressure of the left foot into the palm. And you're trying to find your balance, letting go, chair or the wall, having soft standing knees, stabilizing your right hip. Hold here, feel like the rotation of the shoulder. And let's release. So let us progress with that. You still can use a chair or the wall. So find your knee position. And then before you're going to let the wall go, think of a pressing of the foot into the palm. So finding this hip opening, this hip extension, right? And only when you found how far you can go with the knee, you're letting the wall go. So not so much of the folding forward here, but I wanted to emphasize of the pressure of the leg into the palm and keeping your chest open, soft standing knee. And let's release. And we'll go to the other side. So finding your knee position, taking as far behind, so as far as you feel right. You should feel stretch on the quad here. And when you found there's extension of the left arm, you're just letting the wall go. Holding. Not so much of a fold forward, but work with the leg back. And let's release. So we'll have the contour pose by folding passively. So bend your knees a little bit and just let your hands come to the floor. If you're not reaching the floor, you can always use the block. Just allow yourself to rest here. Exhale. And we will come to the front of the mat for one more flow here. Take a moment here to find your breath. You were in a very active spinal extension, so try to calm down here, and with inhale, lift your arms up. Bring the palms together, exhale, fold forward. Step your left foot back to a nice lunge, lift the torso up. Ground yourself through the back leg, keep your front knee 90 degrees, interlace the hands, take the thumbs toward the front of the sternum and twist to the right. And then open your arms to keep them parallel to the floor. And trying to pulse here. 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back to the center. Bring the hands on the floor, step into plank. Drop the knees down, exhale, come down to the floor. Reset your hands to be on the sides of the rib cage, strong legs. Lift your chest into baby cobra. Tuck your toes, exhale. Come into the downward dog. long spine. When you're ready, step in the right foot slightly closer to the midline. Step the left foot forward. Bring the hands on the hips. Lift the torso up. Interlace the hands. Touch the sternum with the thumbs. Twist to the left. Just find where you're holding here and then extend your arms. And then pulse a little bit. 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back to the center. Bring the hands on the floor. Step into plank. Lower yourself down. Exhale. Hands on the sides of the rib cage. Roll the shoulders back. Strong legs. Lift the chest off the floor. Make sure you're using the back muscles rather than your hands. And then bring the chin to the chest. Press the hips back and come into the very, very comfortable child pose. So if you're not comfortable with a forehead down on the floor, you can use bolster. You can use a block here, so you're not going too low. You're more emphasizing the flexion of your lower back. So you want to drop the seat bones as low toward the heels as possible. Allowing yourself to rest a little bit. We have one more back bend to practice, but we first want to release and just calm down a little bit. The back bends activating the sympathetic nervous system, so that is good to practice in the morning, but we want to have a bit of a breaks between those very intensive back bends, spinal extension that we are working on today. So let us then come into the kneeling position, but I would like you to start with seated on the heels first. So when we sit on the heels, yes, our hip flexors are really locked, and that's right now like an exaggeration of the hip flexion. And let us try to take both arms overhead and go into back bend. You feel like you're restricted, right? So like you can't really go. You feel like you trying to force your lower back, and lower back is not going anywhere. So this is the giving you the understanding how it is important to get this hip flexion opening when we go into back bend. So let us come into the kneeling position. That's open. Have your hips, have your knees hip distance, and bring the hands to the lower back and just move your hips forward a couple of times. So keep a stretch that we already worked in several positions today. And then just look up and squeeze the shoulder blades and come to pretty moderate camel pose. You, again, not trying to compress too much your neck, but always visualization should be like you have a bench, shelf under the back of the head, and come back, and we'll have just the left hand on the lower back. This time I'm going to take the right arm up and come into a little bit maybe more extensive back bend, and feel how you're pressing the palm back, pressing the hips forward, squeezing the shoulder blades, and then release. Let us rest, and we'll come with the other arm, taking the left arm up, pressing the hips forward, and coming into the back bend. Work more from the arm rather than collapse to the lower back. And let's release. Again, we're going to bring the hands down to the floor, press the chin, and feel release of your lower back here. And then we coming into the supine position, having one or maybe even two blocks handy with you. So first let us just release the lower back by taking the knees to the chest, and let us find position here to massage the lower back. And then let us bring the soles of the feet together. Baddha Konasana position, taking elbows inside the knees, pressing the knees out. But focus on maintaining neutral spine. So you don't want to lift your tailbone off the floor. You're trying to have your neutral spine. And you can stay here, or you're welcome to go into the happy baby pose with bringing the shins perpendicular to the floor. You not necessarily have to hold your big toes or the soles of the feet. You can hold your ankles. You can even hold the legs behind the knees, as long as you're maintaining neutral spine. So we even maybe want to rock from side to side, as we want to release the lower back from an extension that we practiced today. So great, great stretch. More you're able to maintain your neutral spine, more stretch you give for all the area or the SI joints around their sacrum. And then let us bring the legs down to the floor. We're gonna pick up one block to start with, and we'll bring the block under the hips. And here we are practicing, probably we'll just use one block today, as we had enough extension. So I want you to think of a bit of a pelvic tilt here, and let the spine collapse to the space between the block and the floor. You can bring your arms into position what feels comfortable for you. And we'll have here just 2 minutes in a very passive fold. So we need now to calm down. So we need to activate our sympathetic nervous system. So we'll start slowing down. We'll start holding the position a little bit longer. And we definitely don't want to create any intensity in them. Try to calm your breath and work with the gravity here. We'll have here 5 more exhales. Then, because we have already blocked under the hips, let us lift the legs up, and even you can drop the legs slightly toward the chest, so create a little bit of a flex position for the hips, a bit more stretch of the hamstrings, but also we have there's inversion here, so you can feel not feeling comfortable with the legs going a little bit closer to the chest. They can be 90-degree up. You can also maybe support the legs with your arms. Try to keep your straight knees. So keep it for a moment here. Our inversion, our basic inversion, easy one when we have our legs up, but we're not going to any extreme position for the neck and head. So let's have here another 10 breaths. You definitely can add your arms, right, and shake them if you like, a little bit activation of lymphatic system in the upper body. And we'll bend the knees, bring the feet down to the floor, replace the block, and just take a moment here to just check how you feel in your lower back. And then we'll bend the right knee and bring the right ankle on the top of the left knee, keeping the foot flexed, neutral spine position. And you can have your foot on the floor. If you like, you can lift your left foot off the floor, have a little bit more stretch in the hip. It could be active left leg. You can interlace the hands behind the left knee or keep the left leg straight, whatever feels right for you. In this position, we again, with the hip opening, we have also a release of the lumbar spine here. So maintain it's in a neutral position, so don't allow too much of a flexion, not taking too high your tailbone off the floor. Think of opening the hip by taking the knee away from the chest. And then let's drop the left foot down to the floor and change the position. Bring the left ankle on the top of the right thigh. Open the left hip. You can lift the foot. You can be on the floor. You can lift the foot. You can take it straight. You can interlace the hands, whatever feels right for you. Keep the left ankle flexed. Just work a little bit on the very gentle stretch of the hip as well as the area of the lower back. And let us release both feet on the floor. Let's separate the feet on the width of the mat. Take your arms in T position and let us drop the knees to the left, creating very gentle twist. You can play with the right arm. You can try to put it into cactus pose. That will be a little bit more intense. Stretch for the shoulder. You can slide your right leg a little bit higher than the left knee, or even have the left leg straight. So basically experiment here with a bit of a different position for the legs and arms to create a different stretches, different alignments, different directions of the strings that you're stretching. Then we'll return back to the center. Reset your hips and shoulders. And first, just drop the knees to the right. Find how you want to practice, which position you want to practice for your left arm. And then see if you want to slide the left knee higher. You might bring the right hand on the left knee. That's one variation. You can take right leg straight or close to straight. That will a little bit different variation. And we'll hold here. Yes. Return back to the straight spine position. So shake your shoulders, shake your hips to get the spine in a midline, and then extend your legs, extend your arms. Let's take a deep inhale and exhale through the mouth. Let your spine rest on the floor in Shavasana. And without forcing your breath into a certain depth, just try to find the rhythm in your breathing and focus on this rhythm. Focus on following this rhythm as we would like to calm down, would like to rest, would like to balance the nervous system after the very intense practice that we put the body, mind into. Then we'll add the gentle movements back, maybe turning the palms up and down. Feel your shoulders moving. Maybe bend your knees. Also, you can windshield your knees from side to side a little bit. Just check how their spine responds to that. And then at some point you drop your knees to one side and come into seated position. Slowly set yourself in a cross-leg position here. Bring the hands in front of the chest when you're ready. And meet the end of the practice. And hopefully we activate the positive energy in the body and mind to have you a great positive boost to continue through the day. Namaste.